Hey guys, we're trying something a little bit different today. A few weeks ago, I had a brew day. Got to have a brew day for the first time in a really long time. I made some beer, I got to smoke a pork butt, and I got to try some beers from Panther Island Brewing Company. Some of you might know that I used to run a beer tasting show and host a beer tasting show. So I'm really excited to be able to do that type of thing again so y'all can see kind of what that is for me and what I used to do. Because I really want to do more of that. So, without further ado, I'm going to take you through the day of a home brewer and pig butt smoker. So, hope you like it. Enjoy.
All right, so we are ready. We've got our strike water up to the temperature. So what we're going to do when you start making beer, the first thing you have to do is dough in. And that is adding your grains. We've got 13 pounds of grains here. We're making a Belgian Saison today. It's my recipe with Belgian Saison with ginger. It's gonna be great by the time it's ready to drink. The weather will be perfect for it. What we're gonna do now is called doughing in. So we're gonna add our grains to our hot water, to our hot liquor, and that is gonna start our mash. Now mash is just hot grains that we're trying to extract the sugars from the grains. So just mixing that in. And we're looking to get it around 152 degrees so that we get proper extraction of the sugars from the grain. So we just let it sit, get happy, and we get that extraction going. And we just check our temperature here real quick. We got our stuff right here. 152. Oh yeah. So now we're just gonna wait about an hour. Get some other hot water going because we're going to have to rinse our grains once we pull this water in. And while we're waiting, let's have a beer. All right, so we've got our mash going. It's extracting the sugars from the grain. We've got sparge water that is getting heated up to the proper sparge temp. We're going to rinse our grain out after that. Smoker is getting ready. It's getting warmed up for the pork butt. So let's start with our first beer because you can't have a day like this without drinking some beer. So this is my friend Bill. You might hear a disembodied voice from the side, and that's Brenda. She's also got a beer in hand. We're starting today. All of these beers are from Panther Island Brewing. Also, we've got my lovely partner and production assistant, Kira, who can't drink beer. Though we are actually this homebrew batch. We are experimenting with a special enzyme that will hopefully reduce the gluten in the beer enough that where she can drink it. So we're going to have an experiment. Y'all definitely will get to see that. All the beers today that we're going to be drinking are from Panther Island Brewing out of Fort Worth, Texas. I got a friend that's working there. They've been doing some good stuff. They're fairly new to the region, like within the past year and a half, 2 years. I want to say 2 years.
Yeah.
So we are starting off with one that's it's one of their newer releases. It is a limited release. And it's called Roadtrip Snacks. Now, this is a basic brown ale style that they combined with Buc-ee's Beaver Nuggets. Now, Buc-ee's is a Texas institution gas station chain. There's one, maybe two outside of Texas. Basically, take a gas station, a Walmart, and a Cracker Barrel Old Country store. And that's Buc-ee's. They've got 100 pumps. It's massive. Best bathrooms anywhere on the road.
Anywhere.
So good.
Yeah.
Like Kira and I have slept in a Buc-ee's parking lot more than a couple of times because that's our goal. Is to always be able to end our road day at a Buc-ee's because all we know is we're going to get good coffee, good breakfast, and a clean bathroom.
No truckers.
No truckers, clean, and really cheap gas. So. But Buc-ee's Beaver Nuggets is basically take a corn pop, take a corn pop cereal and cover it in maple syrup, and it is sweet craziness. So they took Buc-ee's Beaver Nuggets, put it in their mash with their grains, and made this brown ale beer. So the smell is 100% Beaver Nuggets. It's so sweet.
Oh my gosh.
I know it's crazy, right? However,
that is super sweet.
It's so sweet. But okay, so let's dive into this. Let's see what the flavor's like.
I'm scared.
Don't be afraid. It's actually it's
really
okay.
It's a good brown ale.
Yeah, the brown ale base is
the
real
brown
good.
ale base is good. There's definitely some caramel back notes.
Yeah, you got some caramel in there, but it's a drier finish than you would think from the aroma. The aroma,
thank goodness, because
yeah, the aroma
I almost
makes,
didn't want to drink this.
Yeah.
I trust you that much.
Yes, I know. The aroma makes it seem like you're about to drink straight maple syrup.
Yes.
But,
Yeah.
but it's actually like, it's a light to medium body,
Yep.
a decent roast character, and a fairly dry finish for as sweet as the aroma is.
Yeah.
Like, just don't smell it all that much.
This is weekend breakfast beer with bacon
Yeah,
Oh
there you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Put
This
it
would
with
be
the
great. With,
and
yeah,
French toast.
hell yeah.
Yeah, that's what this is.
Yeah, this is
making
a
for.
really good.
And I'm not a
beer.
breakfast for beer person ever.
There is
But I would do
nothing
it
like
for
a
this.
breakfast beer. Nothing in the world. Cheers.
Slash.
Such. You know, this is actually like, again, when this is not the first time I've had it. I had a can at my happy hour last week. So, but I was really impressed. Like, at first I was like, oh man, this is going to be insanely sweet. And then I tasted it and I'm like, oh, that's actually really good. Like, just a nice drier on the finish than you'd expect. Nice roast character.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, it's a nice kind of light, it's a nice kind of amber brown.
Yep.
Amber brown. It's not super dark. So yeah, no, like, I'm here for this.
One thing I did notice, whenever you gave me a sip of it the other day, it was a little bit warmer.
It was. Yeah.
So the beaver nugget smell comes out a little bit more prominent when it's warmer.
That's true. Yeah.
Because when I was smelling it, I was like, I smell the sweetness, but it doesn't smell anything like it did yesterday.
No.
I was like,
Yeah, it's
wow,
like, yeah, like, I mean, and the difference between, like, that's, like, why, like, a certain beer styles that we will not discuss here, they want you to serve it, like, as close to freezing as you possibly can get, because the colder a beer is, the more it's going to hide aroma and flavor. So as a beer warms up, it's going to get the flavor and the aromas are going to be more pronounced. They're going to come out more once a beer warms up. So, like, I don't mind a warm beer. Like,
No.
50, 60 degrees for, like, a nice stout, or even a nice brown ale.
Yeah, good cellar temperature.
Yeah, cellar temperature is really good. But, like, yeah, this, a little bit colder, definitely brings down the sweetness and the aroma.
Mm-hmm.
I really did not think I was going to like this.
Right?
And this is so much better than expected.
Than expected. Yeah, no, I rolled into this going, okay, this is going to be trash, but I have to know.
Right.
And I was very pleasantly surprised. I mean, it's a really good fermentation. They're doing good. This is my first time to really have Panther Island, and
Panther Island's putting out some good beer,
they're
though.
putting out some good beer. Like, I'm excited for the rest of the stuff. We've got this is how we're going to start, but we've got a West Coast IPA and East Coast IPA. A wee heavy. They're making a wee heavy. Like, who does that? They're doing a goza. They got a goza and then a pastry stout. So I'm pretty excited for the day. And, like, you know, we can't ask for better weather today.
Right.
We're gonna have, like, some smokes. We're gonna, you know, some smoked pork butt. We're gonna do some beer. We're gonna try some more beer, and
Cheers.
it's gonna be a good day.
Jackson, I'm sure it's getting hot.
No, I've got the
Look
handle.
at that. All right, getting these coals set up into our smoker. That's some good looking stuff right there. Gonna get it all happy for our pork butt. So, didn't get a chance to show you what we actually did after the coals. We got ourselves some wood chips going, some mesquite logs, and we got some apple wood chips. So that's gonna get happy. All right, look at that smoke coming out of that chimney. We got the pork butt. Look at that. It's a nice dry rub on that thing. So put that on there, let it get happy for about an hour and a half, something like that. So let's open it up. Bill's on the tongs. And that, my friends, begins the day. Let's do it. Boom. Because the rest of the today is going to have absolutely no socially redeeming value. We're having Mediterranean vegetable hummus wraps for lunch. This is the only healthy thing you're going to see all day today, so I hope you enjoy. What we're doing now with our beer, now we got the smoke going here, we got to start sparging our water. we got to pull off our initial runnings. So this is going to be a concentrate of the majority of the sugars that got pulled out of the beer. And you don't want to throw it all the way open because you don't want to stick your mash. There we go. Just a little. So we're just pulling off and circulating it a little bit because we want to set our grain bed. Grain bed acts as a natural filter, so we don't get a whole lot of grain particles in our boil. So we go nice and slow, just pulling off and setting that grain bed. Now we run off into our kettle with our first runnings. Nice and clear. Checking our first runnings. Got to make sure we're getting the right gravities here, our sugar content in the first running.
It looks like around 1085.
1085, 1087, so I know some of y'all don't understand these numbers, but it's good. It means we have a nice sugar content in our first runnings. Things are going to look really good, so we're going to get our alcohol content where we want it if we have good fermentation. So the next thing you do, that I like to do at least, is try the wort. Just like a little bit, check it for color, for particulates. You know, it's a nice, looks like beer already, doesn't it? Good smell.
Ooh, nice and sweet.
Oh yeah. So basically what this is just malty sugar water at this point. It's what we call wort, W-O-R-T. It's proto beer basically. It's what happens before you add yeast and start fermentation. And the yeast will take all this sugar and convert it into alcohol. First runnings are just like, whew, they're intense. I love doing stout first runnings. It's basically like drinking a really sweet coffee. Now, we run off our hot water, more hot water, back into our mash tun to denature the enzymes that are converting it and just kind of rinse the rest of the sugar out of it. And that's going to be another, a little bit of time where you have to wait for things to denature. So, I think we need to have another.
All right, guys. We, just like any good brewer, you got to be very attentive for a little bit of time and then hang out and wait for the next step. So what do? You have another beer. So we are back at Panther Island with Gose Malone. Gose is a German style. I think it's been around for almost 1,000 years at this point. It was a resurrected style. It's seen a lot of popularity in the past, I want to say 4 to 5 years at this point. Gose started to make a comeback. It is a sour style, but not in the traditional sour styles. So Goses were kettle soured and added salt. So it's going to be a little tart, and a lot of people added fruit to it in the base styles. But it's going to be very dry in its finish. This one has watermelon in it, apparently. Watermelon Gose. Mm-hmm. So they're supposed to be tart, they're supposed to be dry, they're supposed to be very drinkable. Let's see what we got here. Oh, wow, that's actually quite light in aroma.
Yeah, it is.
I'm here for it. All right.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Ooh, that's delightful. Yeah. It's some Goses, they go especially these the new over the top Goses. People are trying to just breweries are just trying to stand out. A lot of them are trying to become the shock jocks of craft beer. They're trying to do stuff that's way too over the top. This is incredibly balanced. It's a little tart, just a little bit though.
Yeah.
I don't get a whole lot of watermelon.
I don't get a whole lot of watermelon.
I don't get a whole lot of watermelon. I mean, it's basically just a nice, just drinkable Gose.
Yeah,
just a nice base beer, a little malty, but not by much. It's a little bit of tart. It's just
Like I'd do this half and half with a lemonade and be real good.
It's definitely a dry finish on it.
It is a very dry finish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like it though.
Yeah.
I'm here for that. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Oh, I really like that flavor after the tart goes away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's just nice. But yeah, guys, Goza Malone. If you like, a lot of breweries are doing Gozas right now. So I would definitely suggest, if you've never tried one, like go to your local and like try a Goza. Like it's definitely a style that is making a comeback. You'll see it occasionally, and it's always good to expand your palate a little bit. If you don't like sours, you might like a Goza because it's not as sour. It's a little bit of tart, but it's really dry. I'd almost kind of put it like a slightly fizzy wine.
Yeah.
A little bit like kind of a Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Not more like a Cab Sav. Not Cab Sav. Sauvignon Blanc.
The Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Sauvignon Blanc, in a way. So
Just a sparkling one.
yeah, just like slightly sparkling. So yeah, go try a Goza. Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's check in on our. Let's check in on this pork butt. See how we're doing here. Looking good. Yeah, like it.
All right. We are now doing into the running into our second runnings into our kettle. Because of the magic of editing, you don't have to watch me pouring liquid onto plates again because I've already recirculated. Grain bed is set. And we're just going to run our liquid into our kettle again. Already pulled a run of our second runnings into a glass. You can tell it's quite a bit different looking. It's a little bit lighter in color. It's not nearly as sweet. Looks like it's about 10:34. Oh yeah. So still got a fair amount of sugar. You'll get about less than half. Once the amount finished, we want to end up with about 8 to 9 gallons of liquid. It's going to boil down to hopefully about 6. We want to get a nice sugar content creation, and then we're going to get it up to a boil. We're going to put in our hops. That's what's going to bitter the beer. We don't want to make a terribly bitter beer. Farmhouse ales are fairly malt forward, a little bit of balance to them. It's the yeast that adds a lot of the characteristics for a saison. So we don't want to go all the way to the last drop because near the end you're going to pull some tannins. We got plenty of liquid in there, so I'm gonna put it onto our burner, get it up to a boil, so we can boil our hops and everything else.
Hey, we've got our wort transferred over into our kettle, our big kettle. We've got the burner going. We're gonna get it up to a boil and then add some hops and keep waiting. While we're waiting, I think it's time we have another beer.
All right, we're back. It's like you gotta wait for everything to get up to a boil, so that takes a bit. That depending on the burner. Your burner's huge though.
Yeah, it's a
so
pretty good
it's a beast. So that's pretty good. But still got time to get another tasting in. We are rolling into the IPAs because let's be real, every craft brewery has at least 3 IPAs on tap these days. The IPAs are the moneymaker for pretty much anyone. But this one, they're going back to the old school. A lot of people are doing a lot of East Coast. Has become the new IPA craze, and those like super unfiltered, juicy. Like it's basically almost like you're drinking orange juice in a way. I'm not knocking it. It's good, but it's good to go back to the well. And this one's the IPFNA West Coast Hybrid Imperial IPA from Panther Island. It is 10.10%.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big boy.
That's a big boy.
It is a big boy.
Look at the color
I
on
know,
that.
yeah. You don't see that much. It's nice and clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that type of stuff happening these days. All right. Not a whole lot of head. Like it's a
Well, coming from a crowler, sometimes.
yeah. Crowlers do tend to do that. So these were poured from their tap room. I got these in beer to go form, which is pretty much how you're getting beer from breweries these days. Like unless you're going to a liquor store and getting cans, like if you're wanting to get beer to go, you're pretty much getting it from crowlers straight from the brewery. But this is an amber,
Yeah,
almost amber colored,
Yeah.
really clear. Like they're doing really good things with their clarity.
Ooh, man. Yeah, that's an old school aroma right there.
Yeah, it is.
Like a little, like, it's not nearly as citrusy. A little bit of citrus, but like it's a lot of malt. It's a very malt forward. I mean, but that's a double. Like double IPAs, Imperial IPAs are a lot more malt balanced.
Yeah.
Like if you don't like a super hoppy beer, you want a little bit of hop, but like you go for those Imperial IPAs because you get a lot more of that malt balance. A little bit of pine, a little bit of resin.
Just a little.
Not much though.
No.
That's real good though. Let's see. Oh, it's in the flavor though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you get a lot of that piney
Yep.
West Coast character. So West Coast IPAs, they were kind of like in the history of American craft beer. Kind of California set the standard when it came to IPAs, like way back, like in the 70s, 80s with Sierra Nevada.
Yep.
And then they just kind of kept it going for another 2 or 3 decades. Became like the West Coast IPA war. IPAs were usually up into that 7% to 8% range. The Imperials were up 10 to 11%, and it was all about bitterness for a long time. Like it was how bitter could they make the beer? Like the bittering units in a beer, the international bittering units. Like a standard pale ale is about a 46 IBU, 45, 46 IBU. What we're making in our Saison is going to be about a 26 IBU, so not really bitter. Like the old school West Coast IPAs, they were going to like 100, 120.
Yeah.
Like where you can't even like you
Palate
can't.
records.
Yeah, you can't even register at that point. This is not that. This is where they were still finding a good balance, and the Imperial IPAs were a lot better that way because they've got that malt balance and that malt character because they're so high alcohol.
Yeah.
The hops they were using were a lot more, whereas a lot of hops are being used nowadays are very citrusy. You get a lot of like tropical fruit and grapefruit and lemon and all that stuff. These beers were using hops that were much more piney, much more resiny, and you get a lot of that from
Yeah,
these.
and especially on the taste.
Yeah, it's like the aroma's a lot more malt forward.
Yeah.
But the taste
The
is
taste is very piney,
Yeah.
and very resiny.
yeah, it's old school stuff. I don't mind it though. Like
No.
it's good to go back to that. Like just I can't have so many of those citrus. I can have like one before I'm just kind of like, oh man, I'm done. Day like today, maybe a little bit less, but they're also because they're unfiltered. They're just like they're heavier. They're a lot heavier.
A little bit heavier.
This is also pretty drinkable for 10%.
Yeah, it is.
Like this would wreck you. You wouldn't even know. PA. So IPFNA. I'd probably put it at about 4. Probably 4 stars out of 5 on Untapped. For style at the very least.
Yeah, I mean they got the style on.
Style's right on. So yeah, good job, Panther Island. Our wort is almost boiling. You can see it's getting there. Yeah, we're almost getting into that boil. It's looking good. And then got that pork butt. We're at about internal temperature at about 105. So yeah, that's probably about done about the same time. I'm liking where this is. All right, folks, we've got a boil going. So the next thing that we do is like the one of the most important parts of brewing beer is you got to add hops. So we got our compressed hop pellets, and this is an English style hop called East Kent Golding, and so this is what adds bitterness to a beer. If you actually don't add any hops at all, beer is just too sweet. The history of beer making, people were adding before hops were really discovered. People were adding herbs and rosemary and all kinds of things. Those beers were called brewits. But now pretty much everyone's just using hops. So what we do at the beginning of the boil, we boil for an hour. Once we have thrown in our East Kent Golding hops, so we just stir that in, and then we let that boil, and that gets the bittering acids out of there to make it just enough bitter. We're not looking for a super bitter beer. Saisons are not historically known to be really bitter beers, but it's just enough to make it a balanced beer between the sweetness and the bitter. So now we're going to let it boil for an hour, and we're we're gonna have another beer.
Boil is going. The pig is, well, still smoking, so we're back to another beer tasting. Continuing on, Panther Island Brewing, still pretty impressive so far. This is their New England IPA series. Now, we talked about West Coast IPAs last time. This is New England. New England's the new craze. Has been for probably, I'd say, about 4 years. 4 to 5, something like that.
Yeah, just about.
It started off with a beer out of Vermont called Heady Topper. That really kind of started this whole thing. New England IPAs, unlike a lot of beers, it kind of bucked the trend where it used to be that you wanted your beer to be... clarity was a really big kind of a thing. Like, if a beer was hazy at all, that was almost considered a flaw. New England IPAs are completely unfiltered. I've seen a lot of these literally look like orange juice. Like, you cannot see through them. There is a lot of particulate matter, and like even sometimes like some extra some yeast and things like that. But it's a really amount of dry hopping, like hops that are added not in the boil like what you just saw, but hops that are added after the fermentation's done. We're going to do a little bit of that with this beer. And what we're looking at right now is the SBDH New England IPA series, and they actually even say what hops are in it. It's Mandarina, Bavaria, and Azacca. And actually, we're using Mandarina, Bavaria in this beer.
Sure
At near the end, so it's going to be a lot. So, and New England IPAs are, like, unlike West Coast IPAs that were really piney and very resiny, New England IPAs are really citrus forward. You get a lot of tropical fruit, grapefruit, orange, lemon, that type of thing. So let's get into the aroma here. Not nearly as citrusy in the aroma. Like normally, like you just stick your nose into a glass and it's just a citrus bomb, like right out of the gate.
like burying your face into a grapefruit. But yeah, this one's not.
Yeah, and it's almost like the citrus is there, but it's almost like citrus pith. Yeah, I mean it's okay, but and it's definitely drinks lighter than like it's. This one says it's an 8.5% alcohol.
Right.
That tastes like a 5 or 6.
5%.
Yeah, 5 or 6%. Like at the very least, it's very drinkable.
Yeah.
Like I would drink this more. Like I could have more than 1 pint of this. Normally with a New England IPA, because they're so like heavy flavor. Like normally I can only do like 1 before my palate just goes to hell. But this is actually pretty good. It's not bad, but it's not what you'd expect from the style.
Right. And it's actually pretty clear for
like
IPA
for what it is.
for New England.
I think is like there's only really one brewery that I've seen down here that just can really hit that style well. That's Turning Point. But a lot of breweries outside of New England, like outside of that region, like they're still kind of scared about putting a beer in front of somebody that is so cloudy. Like they are it's not the easiest thing to get a hold of in your mind. Like they think it's not going to sell. So I mean it's not bad, a little off the style, but I'd still drink it. I mean I'm still gonna drink it. So cheers.
All right, so we are at about 127 degrees, 128 degrees internal temp on this pork butt. So to make sure it doesn't taste like an ashtray for the rest of the smoking time, we're going to put it in some foil. Bill's going to roll in here like a pro. Hopefully. Yeah. We're going to wrap it in some foil. But, I mean, come on. Look at that. That is got some nice char, got a good bark starting on there. I think we're gonna be just fine. I'm just gonna wrap it up in some foil. And then we're gonna put it right back in the smoker. Because there's a difference between having some good smoky character to a pork butt and having it just taste like you're licking a charcoal briquette. So yeah, and also still nice and boily with our wort. Looks like we've lost about inch and a half of volume from the sides of things. So we're on course for that. That's gonna be real good. So yeah, continuing on. All right, so we're adjusting and getting things ready for the end of our boil. We have added in our wort chiller, which will circulate cold water through the middle of the wort and allow it to chill down cool enough to pitch our yeast into. So getting back into our boil, got about another 10 minutes, which means, you guessed it, just enough time for another beer. We are nearing like the last 10 minutes of our boil. So we got time for a couple more beers. This one is the Wee Heavy from Panther Island, which I don't get to say that very often in a pro brewing. There's not a whole lot of pro brewing places, breweries that are making Wee Heavies. So Wee Heavy is a Scottish ale, and Scottish ales are going to be very malt forward and a little caramely. And the history of Scottish ales, you've got Scottish ales that are in a few different categories: 60 shilling, 70 shilling, and 80 shilling. And then you've got Wee Heavies, and then strong Scotch ales. Now, these are all based on the historical references of English taxation of barley going into Scotland and then coming back out of Scotland. So the Wee Heavy is going to be, this is a 8.2%. It's going to be a bigger beer, than a sessionable beer. You got a nice, clear, dark red. Yeah, that's real pretty. A little roasty in the nose.
It is.
And, unlike, people are going to say Scotch ale should be smoky. No.
Roast.
It's going to be a little roasty. It's going to be a little caramely, because a lot of Scotch ales, they get kettle caramelization. So basically they're boiling their wort down like you've seen the boils happening. They're going to boil their wort down even more so to concentrate it, and you're going to try and get some caramelization out of the wort from those sugars. That's real good. See, yeah, nice little bit of roast. But not like peaty roast, just like a nice
Toastiness.
just nice toastiness, yeah. Roasty, toasty, a little bit of caramel, but not so much that's it's not cloyingly sweet.
It's well balanced.
Yeah, it's a really well balanced beer. I'm down for this. This is well done. Well done, Panther Island. You don't see a whole lot of professionally made Wee Heavies these days. You got to do it yourself.
This is delicious.
Cannonball.
Oddly enough, probably one of my favorite Wee Heavies that I've tried.
Yeah, no, I'm here for it. Yeah, no, it's I've really only seen 2 professionally made Wee Heavies that are in major circulation. There's the Wee Heavy from Belhaven.
Belhaven,
Yeah, Belhaven. Belhaven's Wee Heavy is okay, but it comes out here on a boat, so it's oxidized and a little. But this is real good. This is super good. I'm here for it. So if you ever get a chance, and it's with the smaller Scottish ales, the 60 shilling, 70 shilling, 80 shilling, they're going to be lower alcohol. You're looking at anywhere from 4.5% to a 6. I have seen the 90 shilling come from.
Is it O'Doul? No, Odell?
No, Odell's, yeah, Odell. 90 shilling. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good one, too.
Yeah.
It's between an 80 shilling and a Wee Heavy. So it's about 6.5%, 7%. And that's a really good, nationally distributed beer. But yeah, no, if you're in the Fort Worth area, or, Texas area, Panther Island doesn't distribute too terribly far yet. So you have to be kind of close, but if you get the chance, and you like a nice malty, kind of toasty, roasty beer,
grab a Cannonball.
Check out Cannonball.
Yeah.
Cheers. Chicken break. So while our wort is chilling, we are going into the science part of things. And we're boiling off some water to make sure it's clean, and then we're going to use it to rehydrate our yeast with, using a dry Saison yeast strain. Alright, now that we got our wort chilled down to the proper temp, it's about 70 degrees, thanks to our wort chiller. And the wonders of well water at 58 degrees. We've got it down from 212 degrees at boiling point to 68 degrees and within like half an hour. It was amazing. And now we are transferring it to a sanitized carboy. This is the moment when sanitation is key, because once a wort gets down below 140 degrees, it is very susceptible to infection from microflora. So we're going to make sure that we keep everything as sanitary as possible. So yeah, we're going to transfer it in, and then we're going to pitch some yeast into it. It's going to be good. We're going to finish off our tasting of Panther Island beer. Alright, the next thing we do, once we've got it in there, is run some O2 into it, aerate it. And we do that with a drill and a paint stirrer. Sanitized, by the way. All of it's sanitized.
Alright, friends. It has been a lovely day. We're basically just waiting for the yeast to rehydrate and get happy before we pitch it in, and then put the carboy in a cool, dry place for the next few weeks until we can drink it. I'll send you some pictures on that. Like our pork butt has like 4 degrees of internal temp left. It's like 155. Like, it's almost done. It's amazing. And so we've got our final beer from Panther Island, the Celebrate. I'm fine with the celebration right now. The Vanilla Cake Pastry Golden Stout. Apparently it is... Golden Stout's become a thing where it looks just like a normal golden ale. Oops, just getting all over myself. Golden ale, but it's got a real roasty character. I've probably using like roasted barley or something like that. And apparently they're putting I think what it was is that they're putting whole vanilla cakes, like vanilla cake pieces into their mash. Yeah, like sheet cakes into their mash. So let's see what we got here.
It is definitely cakey on the nose.
Yeah, that nose is cakey AF. Man, it's not bad. Actually, not in a cloying way. Like
no,
it's pretty good. Like, it's so clear. Like, it just like
yeah.
Like when I think stouts, like, it's taken me a while to get used to the golden stout thing. I think I know who actually started it too. I'm pretty sure it was Armadillo Ale Works.
Oh,
Brunch Money.
Brunch Money?
I think Brunch Money was the first golden stout. It was like waffles.
Yeah.
Like, tasted like waffles, like maple syrup
and waffles.
See, that's not fair. That's so good. Like, it's not overly sweet.
No, it's not.
It's got a little bit of roast character, which, from the color, you would think,
right.
Where is that coming from?
Right.
I've got to figure out how they're doing that.
Yeah.
Like I've been out of the brewing scene too long. I don't know how they're putting roast character in a beer this golden.
Right.
But and like the cake it's not overly cakey. It's got a little bit of sweetness to it.
Yeah.
But it's not cloying.
Yeah.
It's just good. All right.
Panther
Island. Here's
Cheers.
to you, friends.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
For sure.
Surprisingly delicious. Well, friends, that's pretty much it for us. We're gonna pitch some yeast, and then we're gonna make we got our wonderful ladies are making fresh made tortillas in the house. We're about to pull the pork butt off. We're gonna have some pork tacos and probably another beer to go with. It's probably gonna be from Denton County Brewing Company. It's probably gonna be
the Tony Hop.
The Tony Hop, which I still think should be called Dank OG.
Dank OG. Yes.
We're going to pitch this yeast. We're going to put our beer away. We're going to clean up, and then we're going to have a good evening.
Yeah.
So
we got 13 pounds of grains to feed to the chickens.
Oh, my God. Yeah, chickens love grain.
Yeah.
And
Maybe some Sprint grain bread.
And maybe some spit
Yeah,
grain bread.
that'd be
So,
awesome. Cheers.
thanks for joining us on our brew day.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Hey guys, I hope you liked that video. I know it's a little bit different than what you're used to seeing from me normally, but I really wanted to give y'all a little bit something different and kind of show you what else I do with my life aside from just, playing music. But it wouldn't be one of my videos without a tune. So I just wanted to actually, instead of give you a full-length tune, I wanted to show you a brand new thing that's like, it's in my brain and I want to write it, and I'm trying to get a new song written, and I think it would be perfect for this album if I can get it done in a good amount of time. It is so incredibly fresh. It like literally I have a skeletal structure for the melody, and I have a single line of the chorus. So I'm going to give you like the smallest of insights into how I'm writing songs right now. So I hope you like it, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be called Chase the Horizon. And it goes a little something like this. I'm going to do a lot of na-na-nas for stuff that doesn't have lyrics just yet. We can chase the horizon and never look behind us. We can na 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 we can chase the horizon and never look behind us. We can na 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 na. So I know there's a lot of na-nas in there and very little lyric, but I think something that I wanted to make sure that y'all get to see is how a song gets started in my brain, and that's how a song gets started in my brain sometimes, where I'm just like the single line that we can chase the horizon, and that's like what it started as. And I wanted to do a song that kind of had that minor key into the major to try and give things some tension. I haven't done that before, so I wanted to give that a try. So these are the skeletal foundation pieces of me writing a new song. So you're definitely going to get to see how that progresses. So I hope you enjoy that, and I hope you enjoyed the brew day with me. So see you around. Cheers.